What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash, and I'm here to go over. I meant to go over this a couple days ago. I'll have a video explaining everything that's been going on recently. So, but I'm doing this video now. Higan, Ether, Eruthyll is kind of, I think, how you would say that. This game looks pretty cool. I'm gonna be doing it off an FG video, my new classic thing to do. But I really like this game, and I think it's pretty cool. I think that it's very interesting. I'm gonna go through FG's videos, just certain points that I wanted to point out of what I like, because I actually watched him do his first playthrough on stream. And I was like, oh, I gotta do this, but then some other stuff came up, and like I said, I'll explain that a little bit later. But yeah, so let's go into his video and look at it. But this is just to say, it's like kind of like a basic gacha. It reminds me of another game, which I'm gonna see if I can find it. I think 7 Nights was very similar to this game's playstyle. So let me first find the playstyle, because he does show like the characters and, you know, all the characters in the game and stuff like that. And what I like, I just want to show like how the gameplay actually is. Here we go.
To combat. Now, before you get started, you do need to set them up on this little grid. Now, there are some different strategies depending on what you're trying to accomplish here. I like to go ahead and put my tank up front. I'll throw my healer directly behind my tank.
So just like a basic thing, like it is cool to see it like this. So like what I'm always looking for is when I switch games, drop games, going back to games, I'm always looking for a game that's like bringing something to me. So like that's why I like Counterside so much. Artery Gear, I feel like I dropped it just because at the end of the day, maybe just the graphics, even though it had a lot of quality of life stuff, which I knew myself. I knew. I hate games sometimes where it's like you can only auto it, and there's no reason to like, if you just stay in a certain play pattern, that you'll be fine, right? This is the type of game that if there's any challenge, I have to manual it, right? And I find that games that force me to manual at certain points to do stuff, I stick around for a lot more, or I keep it in my back of my mind. Like that's why I kind of still go back to Epic 7, because there's a lot of content in Epic 7 that I still haven't cleared. And I'm thinking like, maybe, you know, that mental thing. But then there's other games like with Counterside where I can just keep getting my account stronger, and then there's still nothing that I'll probably have to actually manual in that game. And that's kind of where it got boring, is that even if I got stuck in something, I'll just sit there, do my rotation of like level up and stuff like that, and then I'll be fine. But in a game like this, even if you got your character stronger, you'll start to see, I'll show you later, that there's probably still stuff that you'll need to manual. And I like that, actually. It brings the gamer part of the game in, you know?
I'll put a little AoE character off here to the side, and I'll put my short range unit right up here in the front. Now, of course, there's more strategies, I'm sure, but that's what we're going to go for in today's video.
And then you see,
let us begin. Let's start
his
combat
formation,
here.
and he goes
turn
in.
Off autoplay, turn off ×2 speed. Now, this game is going to be a universal energy style hero collector. So as you guys can see, my energy is building up, and anytime I can use some of that energy to cast some of my character cards. So this card, for example, costs 4. You can see the range here. It's kind of like a cone, like Misfortune style. And there she goes doing some damage. If I need a heal, I can cast 3 mana to heal like one of my characters. You don't need a heal, but I'll do it anyway.
But that's what I like about it. As you can see, like making sure certain heals, certain abilities go into the thing. I actually really like that it's also like a energy bar. So one of the things that in certain games, especially mobile games, a lot of the times they like to use it. There are some games where you can use all your skills as soon as they're up. Certain things, I'm using Epic 7 as an example. Sometimes a character has a really strong ability, so it has to wait a couple turns, and then you have to use another character to kind of cheese that out of them, or maybe in like a certain item or a certain gear set or something like that. And there's, you know, strategies with this. This is the type of game where you start off with 0, and I'm pretty sure maybe they do have ways to manipulate that, but you can't sit there and spam a skill unless certain things happen. So like when I like these mana bar stuff, and Counterside has that same thing. So like you have to manage that bar. And I think wasn't the Hogwarts game also like this as well, where you have to manage that bar, so you can't just sit there and do everything, the big AoE, the big heal. You have to be very conscious of what you're doing. So yeah.
Target the hero in question and do my heal. Now Kolar here, dude, I told you she is like one of the best
C6.
characters. Look at how big her AoE circle is. So I'll cast 6 mana to do a big old massive AoE. As you're doing your basic attacks, as you're doing your skills, you'll also build up ultimates on the left-hand side of your screen as well.
Clean animation.
There is a setting to turn off ultimate animations if you choose to.
Nice.
Very, very nice. And that is the basics of combat, right? So let's do that a little bit faster. Now check this out.
Yeah, check this out.
Big red exclamation point right over here.
Oh yeah.
This character is going to go berserk if I don't kill her as fast as possible. I'm gonna do this, right? I'm gonna go ahead and take out you. I'm gonna bring in my assassin. FG with a little stratty yaddy yaddy. So check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and assassinate her as fast as possible.
Right.
I'm gonna try to at least.
So yeah, that's a cool mechanic.
We'll go ahead and take out some of the front lines here. Now this character, assassin ability, she basically teleports to where I point. So she's gonna teleport way up. She's gonna teleport way back over there. There she goes.
Boom.
And now she's gonna do damage to this character that I assume is gonna go crazy if I don't kill her as fast
and use
as
another
possible,
skill
right?
again.
I also need to heal.
So what I'm also thinking here is that I'm not exactly sure about the rotation of cards that he has here. Now it gives me like 7 Deadly Sins vibe, right? So like there's no card combining here or anything like that. But it looks like certain cards pop up. So right now he has double healing and damage because he just used his Assassin's card twice. So I'm assuming it's not there. Also, you can see that these things are slowly coming back as well. The ultimates. So it's still a balancing act. And I think that certain stages, or at least that I'm hoping that certain stages are going to require you to do stuff in a certain order. Something that basically that auto can't do, right? Now, I know some of you might be coming from my neck because it's like, oh, why don't you just play like a Tower of Fantasy against an Impact? The thing about those games is that you can't actually auto at all, and I think that there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance, and I haven't found the right balance, but there has to be a balance between the two because eventually those games like that for me just dwindle off. Like even though Genshin is very pretty, like I was watching someone play Genshin and I was looking at it in comparison to Tower of Fantasy, and I'm like, wow, there is that polish difference. I haven't seen Genshin in so long, but that polish difference, like this game looks very polished, right? But Tower of Fantasy is not as like visually polished as that game, but then Tower of Fantasy has other things that Genshin doesn't have, like all the little wacky stuff that it has in there, all the like customization I feel like they have in there, the fact that you can get a character and you can not have to like do a team, but you can still have your main character but still use the weapons and like stuff like that. Like they have some really distinct differences, and I think that once Tower of Fantasy gets like maybe like a graphical upgrade, as long as it stays relevant for a while and they get the money to keep like boosting that game, I think Tower of Fantasy will be right up there with Genshin. It just needs the time to develop itself. But back to this game, right? Well, I don't know why I went on a Tower of Fantasy rant, but I do plan to do more rants and stuff. I know you guys like those type of videos. This game I think has a lot of potential as long as it actually has a good difficulty curve, which is very hard for us gacha people. Mobile gaming is probably the hardest when it comes to, because it's a games as a service. You want to keep people playing, but you also have to deal with people. It's the information. There's a lot of topics here, but like the fact that even if this was difficult and I didn't know how to do it, there's someone that's gonna pop up online, like an asshole like me is gonna make a video telling you how to beat a stage, and then all of a sudden that stage is figured out and everyone in the world can beat that stage. So I don't know, like I sometimes I wish the internet didn't exist when it comes to making these complicated games and you have to figure out your own strategy, and that makes everything pretty cool. But let's go back to the video.
Give her, oh, she's out of range. You see that? I can't quite reach with the heal there. So I put her in danger by throwing her way in the back line like that. But yo, that's an assassin's job, baby. You gotta get it done. So there you go. So hopefully that gives you an idea of kind of how combat flows here. Once again, universal resource meter. Oh,
I don't know when he's gonna mention it, but I do like the aesthetic that as you see he's doing stages, and as he does a stage he goes to the next stage. So most gacha games, what happens, right, is that you do a stage in a chapter, it goes back to a screen, and then then it goes to the thing. But he'll mention it. I don't know if I'll show it, but like pretty much he's going through chapters as we're looking at it. That was chapter 2, then all of a sudden chapter 3 comes up, and then now he's in chapter 4. And it stays in the same setting as that thing. This is probably the smartest way to ever do like chapter by chapter stuff, because a lot of times there's a lot of talking that's irrelevant. And it's like they do all this weird talking, where meanwhile I actually think they save resources by just only animating and talking the stuff that's important. Like if you're trying to get back here, right, that's your entire goal, They said it in the beginning of the chapter or within the last chapter, the last animations, that this is where they're trying to go. Just show me them fighting their way through it, and then when they get there, they can have a cutscene and possibly the boss cutscene and stuff like that. That is really elegant and just smart. It's just a smart way of doing things, and I love that this game does that.
Check this out. Now, if you're wondering if there's going to be more to combat to make it slightly more involved, check this out. So first things first, you see this tile right over here. This is going to give whoever's on this tile a 20% max HP shield. So I'm going to go ahead and put my tank there. This tile right over here is going to start the battle with an extra ult energy, right? So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put Kolar over there. That way she can get that AoE as fast as possible. A lot of you guys are green. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring my little range character here. She can't be way back here just because of her abilities are just so short range. Once again, she's kind of like Miss Fortune. And then we'll start combat. Now, another thing that we have to also make note of, look at this guy. This guy, you see that little exclamation point once again?
Okay.
When combat starts, he is going to do a straight line nuke in this line here. So if I had one of my heroes here, they're gonna take a ton of damage for no reason. So you definitely gotta pay special attention to what you're fighting, because certain enemies are gonna make you move around your formation here.
That's also great. A lot of the times that what we do in gacha games in the auto spot, right? We just keep going. There's no, and they make you do formations a lot of times, and it's usually like Epic 7. You do formations just to like give certain characters if they have dupes or something like that, they'll give like speed and this and that. Other things they'll do like what is it, like if you put this in the one slot, the enemy might or is more likely to attack that unit. And I've always hated that because it'd be like more likely, and then they'll still target something in the back because they have elemental advantages and stuff like that. This one is going by what's in front and what's in this position, and then they have stuff that goes in this position. I'm not too big of a fan of the stuff on the floor because sometimes, well, actually, I mean, it's still strategic, right? Because then you'll have to choose between whether or not you want to get that buff, or maybe you need to avoid that buff that's on the floor in order to do something more important that you feel is better. Like maybe you avoid that buff on the floor to get better position to kill the things in the back. I love strategy. If you guys know, in most scenarios, some of my favorite games are the Runeterra, which I do have the Runeterra channel. The video coming out about that soon. I love card games. I like strategy. I like deck building. I like that stuff better. And that's actually, if you guys pay attention, some people consider mobile games just like a card game. That this is your deck, and he's playing 4 cards, and the 4 cards do these type of things. A lot of people sometimes call these games decks, like card games. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that expression, but that's what I like about this. Like, this is really strategic about where you're placing stuff, and eventually it will come down to, and unfortunately, or maybe it doesn't. I have no idea. This is a beta, so like maybe it will come down to your character's so damn strong, or they'll release characters that are so damn strong that, you know, your strategy doesn't have to be as great because the character, let's say here in the front, goes in, does the damn thing, kills everything, and it's just so broken. And that happens a lot in these games too. So it really depends on how they develop it, honestly.
So watch all this happen here in real time. So you see,
here we go.
Battle's about to start. See that straight line nuke right
Boom.
there? Completely avoided, no problem whatsoever. I'm gonna do my big, massive AoE.
Counter.
Good damage. Her ultimate is almost built up as well, but we killed him so fast. But that was a really good display of what combat here is all about.
That was cool.
Here in Higan, yeah.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and do a little boss encounter here. Now this boss, I was fighting this boss on stream, caused me a lot of problems, but dude, it was so hype.
My man got clapped on stream. He got clapped. This man put... and this is what was cool about it, right? Because a type of game like this, your first playthrough is going to be so epic. It is kind of one of those games that I would love to play as, like, how you guys know how I used to do like story playthroughs, right? Part 1, part 2, part 3. I always want to do it. I was thinking about doing it for Tower Fantasy, but then I just couldn't stay into it. But I love games like this because when you actually lose to a boss and you have to sit there and figure it out, that's one of the best part of mobile games that most people don't show. I remember when Zox actually showed, he was like doing a Temporal Tower in Dislight, right? And he was showcasing, I just realized half my mic is gone, but he was showcasing how he was trying to beat the thing, and a lot of people were trying to beat Temporal Tower or something like that. And it was so cool to watch, or go into one of his streams and watch him trying to break it down, trying to do different strategies, switching his runes, and hopefully, you know, they don't have to stupid, well, I'm playing this imaginary blacksmith to take off this gear. But it was so dope and so amazing to see him just trying to go through it, and then eventually they just released And Ahmed is like, well, I just kind of fixed the floor for you, so what up, bro? Summon for me. But I love this, and like, listen to FG explain how he had to overcome this stage, right? Because he didn't know what it was, and then chat helped him out, right? And again, internet, I hate it sometimes because he would have had to figure this out on his own, right? And he would have maybe ran into it, or maybe the game would have gave him instructions, and you guys know I'm a big advocate of that, the game telling you how to play sometimes. But yeah, let's see how he figured it out.
To finally defeat this guy. You can see that he is a blue element type. Of course, this game does have your typical elemental weakness system here. Oh, here comes an opportunity for me to stun. So you see he's casting this spell called Unjust. If you get hit by this, it's almost a wipe, right? So I'm going to use my ability here to interrupt that.
Boom, interrupt 680.
And now back to beating down this boss here. And like,
so even though that's a huge telegraph, right? So that's just one enemy on the field, right? There could be multiple. There might be a point where instead of you see damage healing, maybe you have to run multiple interrupts because the guy does a thing back to back. Maybe he doesn't get stunned like that in the future. That is the cool stuff. And I'm gonna say it, and you might come at my neck. Knights Chronicles had some of the best dungeon boss designs ever. They did. Because sometimes their stuff was so challenging. Yes, and yes, I know. Sometimes they had you have to have a certain unit in the team, and then they would. I kind of liked it. I'm sorry. They would instead of what they did in Dislight, right? People complain about Dislight, right? That there was a difficult stage that was already there, and then they released a character later in order to beat that floor when people were struggling on it. In comparison, Knights Chronicle would release a dungeon. You would know how to beat the stage, and they had a character that would make it a lot easier. And in some people's opinions, it made it that you had to get that character to beat it in general, which we found most of the time that it would just take you longer to build up a team that didn't use that character, because that character got a lot of bonuses, stuff like that. But that design, I like that design, that they were able to literally release new content every time they dropped a character, which to me, if you really think about it, how often gacha games drop characters, to have a dungeon that benefits that character, that then you, especially in that game, is that sometimes some of those dungeons were giving you another character, so you had to summon for one character, you can farm another character, and so it's like almost like one character gives you another character, which is insane. That is such an insane mechanic, and you guys, if you really think about unit acquisition, and that's I'm a big advocate of that. That's dope. Back to this game, right? I like this. I like that there's a certain interrupt, but of course they can start making other things. Maybe there will be like the thing is immune to interrupt unless you do a certain type of damage, or maybe it can only be done like this, and then they'll maybe do certain debuffs on your characters that you have to heal, and if you don't heal them, they'll do certain things. Crazy.
Like I said, dude, if you miss some of these big spells that the boss casts, it's gonna be curtains for you, dude. Like, they do so much damage, it's crazy. So let's get
like that thing.
Some ads there, but I can pretty much ignore them. I think they just kind of just run.
Yeah, like, this is cool. I feel like what they're doing, when I did see them, I think they'll push your units backwards to kind of mess up the back line, or whoever they're pushing back to mess up their like range and stuff like that. Interesting, cool mechanics.
Run by and just be annoying, but I think we're fine there. Let's go ahead and do a few more ultimates here. Here is, she's not the
good
main
animations.
You actually have a main character. I have no intention of showing you him because he's lame. But he's about to cast again. Now the Lolly Tank can also interrupt with her ultimate as well. So let's use her ultimate. Check this out. One of my favorite ultimates. Getting out of control. I love that, dude. It's like she has Nas on her axe. Too awesome. Now you can
shield
also
burst,
fatigue
also
the
mechanic.
bosses, and when you fatigue the bosses, their shield breaks, which allows you to do a ton of damage, and your mana regeneration just goes crazy. So it allows you to just spam skills like a mad person, dude. I love it. Very, very awesome, and quite satisfying. When you break that shield, it feels like, okay, this is an opportunity to actually start winning here. All right.
And that's an amazing point right there. So they have a mechanic. So a lot of games, a lot of more actiony games do have that. You break the shield, as you can see in that stage. They don't have to do it for every stage, that all of a sudden 100% crit. Now everything that your characters are doing is crit, and then you get all that. But again, that mechanic could be, they could use that for healing. Like, they probably won't. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a stack. We both know that they most likely won't do that. They'll probably just be damage, and it'll be the time you do the damage. But it'd be cool if they added, like, you have to heal a certain character, or maybe if you stack a bunch of buffs on one character, that character does like an explosion, which is still damage, but it makes you do a damage in a different way. There's different cool ways to make stuff, and just most developers, I feel like, don't think about that, and that's why eventually when I make my own game, they'll probably be the best on the market. But I think that there's different ways to do this. Now, boom, here's another boss that he could not beat. He was at the end of the stream, he thought he was done, then he realized he had to fight this character. Check it out.
All right, let's go. So this is the current boss that I'm stuck on at the moment, Greedy One. She has 50 life bars, so
I love that.
Give this a try. She is a blue element type, but my main tank is red. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Down to 40.
Greedy One summon explosive flowers and eliminate the flowers before they bloom. Now, what was happening was that they was blooming, bro. They was blooming all over the place, and which was pretty funny. And I think that was the issue. So he had to sit there and target. So he would need to use like the assassin character or something like that to kill out the flowers.
Life bars are doing pretty well now.
You see how they spawn?
A bunch of.
Now, unfortunately, the AI just kind of automatically switches to that. It would be cool if like he had to do it, so it would be something that he specifically had to do. But they just automatically do it on anyway. But yeah,
like little plants on the.
But see, he just has a good AOE.
So I'm gonna go ahead, use my AOE to clear those out.
Boom.
Very, very nice. Send my team back over here to fight the boss. We're gonna take a ton of damage here. Who's gonna take the most? I'm kind of waiting here. So our main tank is gonna take the most damage. So we'll go ahead and send a heal her way. Down to 34 life bars. Dude, we are not building up any type of, actually, let's cancel that. I'll cancel, I don't want to do that. Oh, dude, my main tank got stuck in one of those,
flowers.
Oh, dude, I have to cast that to get her out of that. Okay.
I love it.
We're good. We're good. Let's start. I need to get some heals fast here on my tank. Good heal. Good heal. I am not doing very well at all in regards of trying to build up the boss's fatigue meter so I can do a shield break.
Now the animations aren't that crazy, but they're good, you know.
But maybe we'll be okay.
See, look, he doesn't have.
We are taking.
Look at how awesome this is, right? He doesn't have any AOE, right? So he has to. If he does, he has to use his special here, right? So now these flowers are all over the place. He can try to heal through it, but now he's in a predicament, right? Because he has this interrupt character that he was using before, but the interrupt character is not really that great because it's, at least right now, this unit's not casting anything that needs to be done like that, right?
Taking a ton of damage once again. Heal over there. Let's just start doing some. Let's just spam, dude. We're almost in. We're so close. 20 life bars. We're just gonna go at it. Actually, hold on.
So it looks like they were.
Cancel that. No. Don't cancel FG. Just go.
He might
dude,
clip
I'm doing the strategy on the fly. All right. Do as much damage.
Nice. He clipped the flower on the side.
I'm trying to save my interrupts, but I don't think this boss has anything interruptible. So let's just go.
Yeah. See, right?
Lolly, Nos Axe. Let's go. I'm about to start losing some lives here, dude. I have so much mana. There goes a bunch of those little flower ads.
Good timing.
Again. Here we go. I need that heal ASAP. There we go. Nice heal on our Lolly tank there. I can't reach any of these little plants over there. You see that? I can't reach them.
Resist.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and cancel that. Wait for her to get back down on the ground. The boss is up in the air doing I don't know what. I don't know what she's doing up there. I don't like it. Come down, sucker. All right. Here we go. Doing pretty well so far. I need to start using as many green attacks as possible here. We'll go ahead and, can I skip the animation for this? Well, whatever. You're gonna enjoy it one more time. You love it. There is a setting to turn it off if you choose to.
You probably have to do it before the battle.
We were not able to actually build up her fatigue meter to actually get a shield break, unfortunately. But we still might be able to beat her and get a 3-star, which will be very, very nice. And it looks like, hey, story.
Dope, right? I think that's I'm not gonna show the story bit he does, but I think that's fantastic. The story is actually, I'll show you that one. It's actually voice acted.
There's the main character.
Except the silent protagonist, which drives me nuts. So it's voice acted. So eventually, there's a possibility if they brought it to global, they might have it in English, right? But I love that it's voice acted so that you can sit back and watch and enjoy. So if you get invested into the story, you can actually get invested into the story. I think that's a huge thing, right?
Show him. I guess I lied. And this is what I was talking about earlier, dude. Like, you can kind of see Issa's hardcore. She's like super hardcore. Look at that cocky evade. Dude, you ain't never seen a character with a staff be like she's like straight hero mode, you know what I'm saying?
Won't show any more of that, but still, really good. Voice acted stuff, except your main character who's a silent protagonist, which you guys know, hate that to the day I die. Let me go to, let's see. There's some other weird modes that they have in there, like solving quizzes and stuff like that. I don't know where he, oh yeah, the summon animation, but yeah. What I wanted to show, the last thing, is the gear system that they have. I'm waiting for him to talk about the gear. Here we go.
The equipment system. Now, this made me actually really happy.
Check this out.
I'm kind of getting burnt out of the whole typical equipment system that most gacha games do, where you're farming for the perfect speed set, the perfect HP set. I need to have percent base this, flat that. I'm getting kind of tired of that and burnt out of that. And
we all are. I just personally, like, he does mention that he doesn't have PvP. I do think PvP would actually work pretty fine in this game, but that's what kills me a lot of the times, because then it becomes that's all you're farming, right? I don't know what you would farm in a game like this, but you can kind of see where he's going, right? As it says 2 sets attack, 3 sets this, so it just simplified it, right? There's no farming for substats and doing rolls. Yeah.
In this game, it uses a Memoria artifact craft essence style system here for your equipment. So for example, I have this prologue here. I can equip that to my character. You can see right over here, a 2-piece set is gonna give me physical attack, right? So if I go over here, I equip what they call the finale. That gets me a 2-piece set, I'm good to go. The only thing I'm missing is the interlude. And you kind of see how this works, right? Prologue, interlude, finale. You equip all 3 or you equip 2, and that gives you your set bonus. And as far as I can tell, there is no randomization. So you can see all of these interludes from this character here. They're all the same exact
P attack,
stats,
M attack,
physical
22.
attack, magical attack. All of these are the same exact physical attack. So you just simply get the set that you're looking for, equip it, level it up, enhance it, do all that good stuff, and you're done.
Now, it could be that it still has that system in it, or maybe it will still be tiered a different way. So the cat's still out of that. He's still pretty early in the game. There might be more intricate stuff there. But in essence, like, I do like it. It's just more based on that. And then maybe that there's just certain, like, artifacts. Like, artifacts is a big thing in, like, Epic 7. I think that, like, the artifact system is great, because if you make a certain very specified, unique artifact or gear set in this case, then boom, you just have to, like, yo, I gotta just, this was the best thing for this character. Again, that gives us content creators something to say, like, oh, I think this is the best, or there's really no point of running 2 and then a 1 of something. It's gonna be like you're either gonna run pretty much a 3 set of most stuff, and then maybe if they make enough unique sets that it will actually make sense. So I think that's where I like it, and that's where I'm gonna end it as well. So there are some other stuff that he showed, some other cool quality life things, but those are just I feel like it's not crazy as mentioning as the actual gameplay, the summon system, and how gear works. How do you level up and power up your characters? And he did show the awakening system and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool. But it's a game with a short roster. It's a game where the characters are really drive the game. The game system is not like too crazy, but I do like that it's very strategic, and it's something that forces you to really follow the story a little bit more. Very Tower of Fantasy-esque, but still has that mobile gacha element to it. I feel like Tower of Fantasy and Genshin are like almost not even fair to be called mobile games, but you can play them on mobile. Clint plays Tower of Fantasy on his phone all the time. But yeah, that's gonna be my opinion. What do you guys think about this game? Are you interested in seeing when it comes out? Do you think it's worth it? Do you not like games like this, or you know, what is it? What say you, sir or madam? All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.